Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see here, I have a very special guest today. Her name is Dawn.
Hi guys, I'm Dawn, or some of you might know me as Budget Babe.
Yeah, so Dawn actually started her Budget Babe blog since 2014, right?
Yeah, wow. That makes me feel so old, man.
And I remember growing up reading your blogs for financial advice.
Growing up.
Yeah, growing up.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So you're one of my many followers.
Yeah, one of your many followers among all the other Singapore bloggers, right? Investment mode. People like them.
Yeah, I think actually as a blogger, right, it's these numbers and these readers who help us to keep going. Because not easy to write every single week, you know. But when we think about how like there are so many people waiting for our post, right? That was like, okay, I must write.
Yeah. So, but my question is, why call yourself SG Budget Babe? Why not Genius Babe?
Genius Babe, or Chobu Babe or something,
Chobu
right?
Babe.
Okay, so the story behind Budget Babe, right, actually not very fascinating lah. I was just walking with my husband, and then like all of a sudden this name Budget Barbie popped into my head. So I thought, hey, Budget Barbie, very catchy, right? Not bad. So I immediately went home and I created sgbudgetbarbie@gmail.com faster book. But after that, when I launched already, right, then so a few readers reached out to me and they said, Mong Choo Choo got this show called Budget Barbie. Then I'm like, oh no! I saw on my on my internet feed, then it stuck in my head. That's why I thought it was very catchy, but actually not. I saw original one. So I had to go and change, right? So someone sent me copyright notice. So I changed. I'm thinking, but I already set up SG Budget Barbie. How? Okay, I know lah. I just changed to Budget Babe. Not Barbie, just be Babe. So that's how SG Budget Babe came about. Not very fun, but that was the story.
Right now you are doing it part-time, right?
I've always been doing it part-time.
Any plans to go full-time?
I wish if the money was good enough to replace every single thing else that I'm doing, right, then I would. But I think right now, what I've given up instead is on my tuition fund. So I think those of you who followed me for a long time, you might remember, and if you read my article, you might remember I used to be teaching like 5 to 7 students at any one point in time, right? But I cut down a lot on tuition really because I feel like I can generate more value and also more money by working on my blog and other social media.
You can earn more by going to YouTube.
Yeah, I should, right? My YouTube is quite sad. Guys can support my YouTube channel only at like 1K.
Make it 10K.
I also want, or 60K like you, 偶像leh.
Let's talk about your investments. What's your portfolio like? Like, what's the allocation? How many stocks do you have in it?
Wow, I have too many stocks. Too many because I feel it's difficult to track.
Okay.
But I am trying to trim it down, and I do try to make sure I monitor what I have lah, so I know whether to hold or to sell or to add more. In terms of allocation, it keeps changing. But generally, my risk appetite is as long as the stock is more than 5%, I start to get a bit like uncomfortable already. Yeah, so I don't like to have too big of an exposure. I know it limits my earnings, and I know a lot of people have YouTubers keep saying diversification is for idiots who don't know what they're doing, but like I think it's really just a risk appetite preference lah, and I cannot sleep with more than 5%. Yeah, so it varies. I think my top holdings for Singapore, right, is iFast. But honestly, it was a lot through luck also because like everyone else, I only kept that to, actually I kept it to 10% of my portfolio. But I bought it at $1. So,
How much is it now?
I think it's $5 or $6
Wow.
now. So at one point it was almost $10. Wow, so I see my portfolio like that, because of iFast. Yeah, so that's for Singapore. Then I also have crypto. I think overall I have crypto and stocks are across US, Singapore and Hong Kong markets. My biggest allocation in Hong Kong is of course Tencent. I think no secret that I'm a super Tencent fan.
Your Tencent is 5 cents now.
No, it's not. In fact, it actually went up quite a bit, right? I shared about it on my Patreon, then and that was like right as the Chinese government stepped in to say it went up. So it's not 5 cents. One day it'll be 20 cents, then 30 cents, then $1, then 10 million, okay? Okay, so like that's for Hong Kong. And then for US, I have a mix of growth and undervalued stocks. The undervalued stocks mostly were bought during the COVID crash. So a lot of them went undervalued back then, right? So I loaded up. And then the growth stocks were like when everything started rising, then the value not so value anymore. Then I started to move some into growth stock. But of course, like everyone else, growth stock also got a big hit lah. So because I maintain 5% rule for every investment, right? I'm not that badly hit.
Right.
But yeah, I can imagine those who have bigger exposures would be more concerned.
Do you have any advice for people who YOLO the entire portfolio into Tesla?
No advice, but I think they're super daring. It's guts that I don't have lah. I cannot sleep at night if I YOLO my entire portfolio into Tesla.
My Tesla went back up recently.
I know, right? Maybe Tesla forever will be the one that got away from me. You know the Katy Perry song? In another life.
You can still buy now. Sell off all your Hong Kong stocks.
No, cannot. Now run up. Then am I becoming the exit liquidity for all the early Tesla investors? You're the early one, right? That's why you're shooting to me, right?
Sell to you.
No, I'm not going to buy your packs.
What's your biggest holding for crypto?
My biggest holdings is Ethereum, followed by Solana and Luna. Although I think now with Luna's price run up, because I got in at $40 plus, now it's like 100 plus, right? So I think Luna might have overtaken my Solana already. But for these three, actually Ethereum is really because right from the very start, right, I just felt like Ethereum would be the bigger winner than Bitcoin. So I started quite early. I think it was in 2017. Yeah, and at that time Ethereum was like only $400. So I loaded up a lot at 400, 600, 800. My highest Ethereum back then was 1,200. But I didn't load so much at those levels.
Right.
And I really thought it was a lot, right? Because when I bought in at 400, you must imagine, it's 3 times, you know, so I averaged up 3 times. But I mean, now look at Ethereum and you're like, what is 400 and 1,200, man? Yeah, so because it grew so much, that's why my Ethereum is my biggest bet now. Yeah, but I'm still very bullish on Ethereum. Vitalik, yeah.
Nice. For me, my crypto is just like 5% of my portfolio.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why so little?
Because everything is in Tesla.
Oh, that's
No lah,
why.
but,
That's why you show me your Tesla bag lah.
Yeah, so I don't know. For crypto, it's not that high conviction in it yet. But soon I'll see how.
I think for crypto, it takes a while to build the conviction.
Yeah.
I studied it very intensively in the 2017 bull run when it first started getting traction. And then I only loaded up my bags after like, say, 5 or 6 months of research.
Wow, okay.
But it really takes a while to build up that conviction. Then that conviction helps you through the bear markets, which you will have, as we did see, and then now starting to come back to bull, right? Yeah, so I think it's really important because in crypto, right, the thing is that it's very high risk, high return. You just like create your coin out of thin air, and then you create your project. Who knows whether your white paper legit or not? Okay, so you must see whether the team is docs. If the team is, and then you trust their background, it's a bit better. But if it's not, then it's really buying into a promise. Whether or not the team delivers on that promise is another thing.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
I won't name names, but if you all follow me on Instagram, sometimes you see I got hint a bit. There were even some Singapore startups who did that, right? They promised, they raised ICO, then never built already after the bear market hit.
Right.
They run out of funds, no more passion, is it?
Yeah,
I don't
high
know.
risk stuff lah. So
Yeah.
do your own research.
Yeah, DYOR.
One thing that makes you different from all the other bloggers is that you are a mom, and quite recently you have another kid, right? So right now you have 2 investments. I mean 2 kids.
2 investments, yeah, 2 investments. Better take care of me when I'm old. I'm a 2 kid. I think I also want to add one more thing that I'm different from other bloggers, right? Not as show lah,
No lah,
mother
don't
of
say
2,
that.
then lost my good figure already. Then not as like, people got very thick eyelashes and all. I don't have, but it's okay.
It's okay.
I do what I have.
Yeah. I also don't have. So one question I have is, does having children make achieving financial independence harder for you?
I think it does because with children you have to spend more, right?
Right.
So imagine if you didn't have to spend that money and you reinvest in your own retirement, you can retire faster. But I cannot compare lah because children is it brings us a lot of joy. Right, they're so cute,
right.
And then like you're really building your family and relationship and bonds. You also don't want to be so rich and then so lonely, right? Nobody with you on your deathbed. So it's like trying to balance actually.
Yeah, so I think it's worth it to have children. Like I see my kid grow up. I think the money is worth it.
Yeah, worth it. But even more worth it when you choose better financially sound decisions for them.
Yeah.
Like don't enroll in super expensive preschools that you cannot afford, or buy super expensive milk powder that don't know whether really will make your kids smarter.
Actually, for me, I think it had the sort of opposite effect. It gives me the drive to achieve financial independence more. Because I sort of want to provide a better life for them. So I sort of work harder because of them. Yeah, like previously without a kid, without a wife, right, I was playing games all day long. But after marriage, I sort of worked a bit harder.
And then you started your YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's when I started my YouTube. Part of the reason was because I married. I started seeing my expense going up. I said, oh, I need more money. Yeah, so I think, yes, it depends on how you see it, I think.
For me, actually, it didn't have this effect. I think what you described sounds like my husband also. Yeah, because this was what the change that he went through. But for me, because I've always been very motivated because of my background. I didn't come from a rich family. My mom got retrenched during the Asian financial crisis. So, I grew up in debt, seeing my mom struggle with debt and all. So, I know it's something that I don't want to be in. And I know that money can get rid of a lot of problems. So, I want to have enough money so that I don't have money-related problems. But I also don't need so much such that, then you have money-related problems and people come to you also. Yeah, so having kids for me wasn't so much of the money part, but more in terms of what is the kind of joy. I think, to be frank, it's more of the time.
Yeah, it's the time. Yeah, definitely.
Because I used to be someone who worked non-stop and workaholic one. Yeah, but now your kids cannot huh? Your kid come back already, you can work non-stop, man. You're like, mommy, play with me. How to work non-stop?
So the next question, right? How do you manage finances as husband and wife? What do you personally do?
What do you do?
So for me, I'm sort of better financially literate compared to my wife. So I sort of manage our household expenses. When the money comes into a joint account, then what I do is I take part of her money, invest for her, then I pass some of money back to her. So, but it took a while to convince her of that. She was a bit not happy about it at first. After a few times of brainwashing, she was convinced.
You should get your wife on the next episode. I think that's quite interesting. Our way is very different. My advice to couples is that I think the best way is the one that works for you.
Right.
Because everyone's personality is different, right? So what is good for you wouldn't work in my case. I'll be that wife who be like, no, you can't brainwash me. I will never let you do that. But in our case, right, I'm the one who settles almost everything.
Right.
Yeah. So I settle I would say 80% of all the bills, especially those that cannot be late. Helper salary or preschool. Later my kid cannot go to school because get kicked out because never pay fees, So these kind of things, right, I will pay. And then I will send a bill to my husband and say, oh, money, pay money. And ask him to transfer me back.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how we do it. Then all investments, of course, is I do lah. My husband don't know how to invest. Yeah. So it's what works for you guys and the personality.
Yeah, as long as each other is happy, then can already.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, that's what my wife tells me. Do you have any best advice on how to pay for your kids' education in the future?
Are you going to pay for your kids' education in the future?
I don't know. Right now I don't have any plans yet.
My uni education was not paid by my parents.
Right.
Even when I went on exchange, it wasn't paid by my parents. It was all financed by my own means.
Right.
So I think in my background, growing up with having to work for it, right? And how I financed it, I was actually very lucky. I managed to get a scholarship. But I worked very hard and I was not a top student. Okay, I really worked super hard to get there because I told myself I cannot fail, otherwise my consequences cannot go uni. And then JC paper, is right, the Singapore saying GCA level paper is not like Poly, you used to wipe toilet only. Okay, so not good enough, right? And because of that, I really worked very hard to get into uni.
Right.
I got my scholarship, but obviously scholarship doesn't pay for every single thing, right? And then when I wanted to go on exchange, I had to also go and find a way to finance that. So I really work like crazy. I go and teach a lot of tuition, save up the money. But because I did that, I really learned how to balance my time well. I learned to study on the go, on the train when I was traveling. And I learned to be very productive when I'm actually sitting down to my revision. Right. Above and beyond that, I also appreciated every experience more. Because knowing that I am own self-financing my uni education, right, made me not want to skip lectures unless I really thought it was quite lame. Right. I really wanted to go there and learn. And on exchange, I was really lapping up every single experience. So I feel if I get my kids to work for it, they may also appreciate it more rather than, oh, papa, mama scholarship, they pay for me. So I just study, no motivation. But I also don't want it to be such a huge burden for them. Yeah. So I do have an investment
Right.
that I set up for each of them. And well, whether or not this investment grows, see how lah, huh? I think it will lah, right? We have time on our side. But what they want to do with the money at the end of the day, it will be up to them. So if they want to use it for university, then okay. But actually, I think in 20 years' time, uni cert not so valuable anymore. Don't you think so? Everyone now also uni grad already, not like last time, you know.
Actually, I got a feeling that online education will be much more important than uni education in the future. And I suspect that uni education for some courses may not be as important anymore. Like obviously YouTube. YouTube, you can learn these kind of things online. For doctor and engineer, you still need to go uni. But some things like maybe programmer, you don't even need to go uni to learn that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
don't know whether the value of a degree cert will be as relevant. And if the costs really go up to, the projections are like what, 100k now, right? So imagine if your cert not so relevant, but then you have to still pay so much. And how many years will it take you to earn back the income and all that time if you didn't go and study uni instead, right? So I think at the end of the day, what happens in 20 years, we don't know.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my husband, and we feel that there might be a chance that maybe they don't have to go uni if they don't want to. Yeah, maybe just set up their own business lah. Right, take the money as like initial startup capital, venture funding, right? Papa, mama, venture funding. Go and do your own business and learn on the way. Yeah, that might be even better.
So you are putting it in the savings plan lah.
No, I am higher risk one. Remember, I like to DYOR, invest in what I like also. So for the kids, I have a mix of robos, whereby I actually can select which ETFs I want. So I don't choose those that the robos allocate. I choose my own. Right. And then I also have a mix of growth stocks for the kids.
Same. As in, I don't separate up a portfolio. I use my own portfolio to in the future pay for them lah.
Right.
But like I say, it depends. If they need it, then I will pay for it. Otherwise, just pay for themselves lah.
Mine's a bit different. I separate.
Right.
Yeah, so I have, some of it is Excel separate. I just create a separate Excel sheet, but then it's in my brokerage account. But the robos, right, is exclusively for the kids. Yeah, so I don't mix up the robos with my own investment. So it's easier for me to track in that sense lah. It's the DIY stock pick that's a bit hard. So that one is within my own account, and then I will track it with Excel, so I know this amount belongs to them.
Yeah, I think even if it doesn't do well, right, there's always the loan, part-time job. Yeah. As a financial blogger yourself, how do you plan to teach your children financial education?
I think through daily life and role modeling. Yeah. So budgeting is easy, right? Every time they go out, go to the supermarket, or giving them pocket money, just teach them how to budget lor.
Right.
Then I also intend to use the 3 jars method. Now my kid's a bit too young, so I can't execute all 3 lah. Okay, but my idea is to have 3 jars, right? And then it's gonna be all like the transparent kind. Okay, and then one of it is savings, one of it is investments, and one of it is charity.
Right.
Yeah, so the idea is I want him to know that he can save, and then that is for short-term expenses. So if he wants, let's say, a book or a Nintendo Switch, then save up for it. If he wants to invest, then I haven't thought of the rate of return yet. Maybe I'll do top up $1. Every $1 I give $1, or maybe a certain amount, then you get 10%. I will design the investment return next time when he gets to that age.
Obviously, the way is to take off all their investment. Show them what's the real world for investing. Lose everything.
That one they have to be at a certain age first too, right? Right, yeah. So my initial idea, right, I was thinking just for the sake of education, I will also introduce some Singapore REITs into their portfolio, so that when we go to the shopping center, then I can point to that town and say, son, you own that town. Okay, you have invested in this REIT. So I think it's really just helping them to understand the concept, but I also don't want it to be such that they are obsessed about investing too early on also. Yeah, so it has to be a balance. So I think the 3 jars method works first. Then as they get a bit older, maybe when they are say 18 years old, after their A-levels, or after when they are in poly, then I can show them what are the investments I've done over the years, and I explain to them the rationale, then guide them along the way.
Yeah, I saw one YouTube couple that teach investing 12 years old kid, and the kid all are now investing their own money.
Wow.
So,
at 12 years old.
Yeah, I think they have to wait until 18 years old, because at 12 years old they already understand the concept of money.
But I think we need to strike a balance, because at 12 years old, right, they're also studying in school. So I don't want them to think that, hey, why should I study if I can make money so easily,
Drop out.
Then I become a school dropout, then whole life regret. So I also want them to be able to focus on their studies because I think it's important to learn how to be a lifelong learner.
Right.
Yeah, and when you learn the art of studying, you can master things very quickly later on. Yeah, so balance. Cannot be so money obsessed right from a young age.
Depends.
Money conscious, not money obsessed. Got difference.
So moving on, right? There's a lot of viewers' questions. For the first question, what are your goals for YouTube, and how are you keeping yourself motivated?
My goals for YouTube will be to become like the female Kelvin learns investing. Okay, I think I want to enjoy the journey.
Right.
So I hope to grow, and since you told me YouTube can monetize and they push out the video, then hopefully can monetize a bit, make my hours and time worth it so I can do more lah. But I think maybe I'll set a benchmark goal first to get to 10k subs.
10k subs. Easy.
Really? That's like 10 times of my current numbers, Let's see.
Because you already have existing viewer base. Just push them over and you can easily hit that.
I must beg for more people to like and subscribe to my channel or my other social media. Okay, so that's one. Then I think how to keep myself motivated. Actually, I just enjoy it.
Yeah. I think that's the important part, right?
Yeah, like I like sitting here chatting with you. I like filming videos. I like chatting and teaching my followers. I like to write blog articles. So I just want to do it in a way that's fun.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's important to enjoy the journey. Otherwise, how to sustain?
Correct.
Right. It's like what Graham Stephan talked about it in one of his early videos, right? He said he was making videos for a very long time and he was earning nothing on it.
Right.
And that was like for what, 1 year?
Yeah,
at
almost
least?
1 year.
Yeah, and then he was earning less than the minimum wage, right? But he persisted because he liked it, and wow, look at him now! Wow.
What's your full-time job?
My full-time job is account management. So it's like, for those of you who are not familiar, it's a bit like the project manager. So I am the bridge between clients and the internal operations team. So I need to make sure that the client is happy while their expectations are not too unreasonable. So my operations team is not unhappy with me. Yeah, so it's really a bit about balancing it. In my previous role, I was also on account management, but I also had a little bit of sales involved where I was going out to get new business at the same time.
Does she thinks that crypto is a better investment than stocks?
I think crypto is a different investment than stocks. It's higher risk, but I think it deserves a place in everyone's portfolio because you cannot ignore the fact that it is becoming more mainstream.
Right.
Yeah. So if you're willing to go in big, and you're very nimble, you're very fast, I think crypto offers a lot of opportunity for you to earn good money in a very short period of time. Because you can do things like flipping NFTs, you can do things like arbitrage, but you have to keep looking for arbitrage opportunities, right? And then if you're super degen, you can also go for the very high APY use, then keep praying to God that you don't kena rug pull, so enjoy it while it lasts. There's a lot of opportunities, but I don't go super degen. Yeah, because my risk tolerance, I need to think about my dependence. So I go at I would say medium risk.
Right. So you're talking about short-term stuff, right? Do you believe in crypto long-term?
Yes, for sure. Yeah. I think blockchain technology is really game-changing. Crypto is one very strong use case of it, but it won't be the last.
Right.
But I think also a lot of crypto projects will fail. I mean, I lived through the last bull and bear cycle. I saw with my own eyes, invested in some of them and went to zero. Oh. And then some went 50x. So it's really like high risk, high return. But if you think about it, you only need a few multiple X to reduce your loss, which is maximum 100% loss, right? So let's say if you're very good at balancing your portfolio and managing your diversification risk, let's say if you choose 10 crypto projects, okay, you've done your due diligence for all of them, and let's say 5 of them told, rug pull, or person just abandon the project, no more. Out of the remaining 5, let's say 3 of them do a 6x, okay, which is quite common in this space, and then the other 2, let's say 2x only. Hey, you are overall more than your initial capital already, right? By a lot more. Stocks may or may not give you that kind of return because you tend to have to wait longer for stocks to do this kind of crazy percentage kind of gains unless you're super lucky to time and catch the bottom.
Right.
Yeah, but crypto, that's why it's also very, very stimulating. Like, whoa, like roller coaster ride. You really have to have the stomach for it.
Right. So I think crypto is not just about the crypto price. it's also about those DeFi projects and stuff. If you can find the correct one, you'll be actually quite rewarding lah, I feel.
It is. But you have to be very careful of shoes. Yeah, a lot of shoes. I caught up a few on my Instagram before. Maybe I should do YouTube, but then later become YouTube drama. How? Oh no! So yeah, there are a lot of shoes. You have to be careful. You're not some influencers exit liquidity. You don't do. I call you out also, but I message you first. But yeah, so I think you really have to be a bit more aware. For stocks, it's less likely for someone to shoe because usually then like you need a certain amount of quantum. And what's happening on the stocks front is all the pump and dump schemes lah. You can kind of spot them already. But for crypto, it's not that obvious to spot. Yeah, sometimes it could be your own friend shilling you. Maybe your friend don't even know.
So I think this shilling thing, I've seen influencers doing it lah. How I normally avoid it is I explain it as neutrally as I can. Right, when I talk about Bitcoin, Ethereum, I will say what's the good point, what's the bad point, what are its developments. So it's sort of considered objective explanation lah. It's not considered shilling lah. So if you ever want to do it, I suggest doing it that way.
I give you one example. So I run a Patreon subscription service. Don't know if you're aware. And there I actually share my research reports. I tend to like to write like long theses, so I remember why I bought into the coin or stock in the first place. So that's where I will do a EL5 version. Okay, and I will write it in a simpler way for my patrons and do a complete picture. You know, a lot of things in my head, but it's not in their head, so I need to really write it down, right? So when I shoot Luna, for example, last year, a lot of my Patreon subscribers were asking me, are we too late? That was when Luna was $40-something, okay? And then I told them, I don't think it's too late. Here's why. Then I listed out all the reasons. It was all in a very nice thesis for them to read. I think it was a 12-pager report. And some of them did take action. Okay, and then they were happy. They tell me, I made money from your Luna. Thanks for your recommendation. And I always remind them that it is your own action actually. I hope you didn't just buy because you saw me writing a report on it. I hope you did your own due diligence as well after that. But like the report helps to shortcut a lot of it. You still have to make your own judgment call. Yeah, that's what a lot of people miss out. Their judgment call is based on what the influencer's judgment call is. And I think that is wrong because like influencers especially, they can tell you they buy, right? Then they don't always tell you when they sell. Right? So, but you need to be able to execute both equations. But when you actually know, like my Luna thesis, I also explain what are the risks and then when would it be like when it's really bad, we have to get out that kind of stuff, right? You can then decide, oh, the thesis has changed. I need to sell. I don't know whether Dawn got sell or not, but I'm going to sell because the thesis got changed. But Luna thesis never sell, don't sell. Okay? Never change, I don't sell. Pro Luna, yeah, I'm lunatic.
So, DYODD. In short, if it actually goes the other way down, you guys will be blaming all the people who shield the crypto.
And sometimes when it goes down, it's actually a good chance to buy more, right? But when you don't know the thesis, then you will go and blame the influencer. You own self never buy more, then you miss the run up, then you also own self kick yourself.
Correct.
You know?
For the next question, any financial and investment advice tips for women?
For women, I think self-confidence. Yeah, a lot of women, they tend to be very overwhelmed by the idea of investing because they think it's very difficult. It's usually the men doing it. And then like the men, when they talk about it, they tend to use all the very super chim terms that the women don't understand. Then it's really like, I think it's too difficult for me, I cannot, then the brain shut off. Actually, not that difficult. Yeah, I actually find investing very fun. Because it's like, especially for stocks, right? It's about learning the business and then learning how they monetize and all. About crypto, it's learning what the value use case is and what's the opportunity, so on and so forth. So it's actually a very fun exercise for me. It keeps my brain active at the same time. And it's very financially rewarding. So for women, I think you need to find things that you're interested. Maybe you're not interested in investing, that's okay. But let's say you're interested in beauty. Then you go and analyze beauty stocks or luxury stocks. Right? Yeah, like a lot of my Chanel knowledge is because of my Chanel lover friend. I don't agree with her in the sense that I will not buy the Chanel bag myself, but she gives me a lot of insights into how the luxury markets work. And then when I see that, I'm like, wow, that's a very good business, man. Anyhow, raise price also can. Got price inelasticity, you know?
Actually, there's a portfolio called Betty Portfolio. The theme is white girl favorite stuff.
I think that's quite smart. Maybe I should buy that portfolio also.
And it's doing well because I think it's in the consumer discretionary thing. Even when times are bad, right? That portfolio is doing well because people still drink Starbucks.
Yeah, people still drink Starbucks, still will wear lipstick,
right?
Still will buy Chanel bag. Yeah, cannot let go of their image, especially women. Like that, your image is very important.
So I think as a woman, you sort of have an advantage because you can buy the things that you yourself are using.
Yeah, correct,
Yeah.
correct. But I think to be very frank, as a mom, right, a lot of women get very overwhelmed by motherhood also. So they spend a lot of time taking care of the household, taking care of the kid. They barely have enough time for themselves, much less investments. Yeah, so that's where subscribing to my Patreon helps. I shortcut. No, but I think really it's also like trying to find what fits into your daily life.
Right.
Yeah, like let's say if you're a mom, there are brands that cater to parents and kids. Then you can look at whether that business makes sense for you. I give you an example. One of my all-time favorite stocks, Disney. Right, I'm also heavily invested. I bought in a lot when it crashed during the COVID period. And Disney, you can really see how sticky it is with your kid.
Right.
Right, and then everyone who has kids will go and buy Disney Plus, right? Every girl out there singing Frozen, let it go, let it go. So, it's like, you can look at this and then you start analyzing Disney. And if you don't know how to analyze Disney, there are like paid subscription services that you can pay for, or even like read other bloggers' analysis. And then if it's free, you maybe just read a bit more to go and get your own sense of things. Then you can decide whether to invest or not. It's not that difficult. I think
it's not that hard.
Yeah, the idea of it is more off-putting than the actual work itself.
Correct.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Investing is fun.
It's fun.
Earning money is fun too.
Yeah.
Do you feel pressured being one of the babes in the male dominant industry?
Babes, I hope I live up to the reputation of babes. I lost 15 kg already, so consider or not. Okay, so I think the pressure in the beginning came a lot from the whole gender stereotype. When I first started blogging and writing my thought process about stocks, right, a lot of people were saying, like, I go and see Hardware Zone, they say, "Aiya, she bimbo, don't know what she's saying." So I got hit by a lot of this bimbo perception. But I think over the years, I kind of proved myself, right? My work kind of speaks for itself, the depth of my research. And I think it's been 7-8 years already. You would have seen how I've done my things throughout the years. I mean, you read my blog, I'm not airy fairy, right? Hopefully got real substance, right? Yeah, I try to really like add value in that sense. So I may not be the prettiest babe out there, but I hope I can be the brainiest babe. Yeah.
Richest babe.
Richest, I also want, richest. Both in terms of money as well as physically, as well as mentally and emotionally. Yeah, everything kao.
Everything.
Yeah.
How are you investing like before COVID and right now?
Actually, no change.
No change.
I think it was just like because of the COVID crash, I went in very big.
Right.
Yeah, went in the biggest I've ever gone in at one shot one. Yeah, although I tell you very sad, because the tick so fast, right?
Very fast.
Yeah, I was conserving my bullets. I was still telling my husband, no lah, chill, we'll still have one. Then run up already. Same thing with the war. The war happened, but then a lot of things didn't fall as much. Before I even deploy half, run up already so fast.
Actually, for the COVID, how did you get the confidence to dump it all in?
A lot of it was because I really did my research.
Right.
So I added to existing positions. I think for COVID, what was tough for a lot of people was that suddenly they knew there was an opportunity, but because they either don't know how to invest, they had to suddenly go and read books and take courses and everything, right? Or they don't know what to invest in. So that was difficult. But I really knew, so I just added to my existing position. So I see, at that time when I bought, it was here, and I already did my valuation, this is okay. Now it's here, walao, no brainer, don't even need to think, just buy.
Right.
Yeah, so that was easy. But I think like what is more difficult now, I feel, is that we have seen sentiment change a lot of the game, and sentiment has pushed up valuations to crazy levels in the last 2 years. So now I think how my investing style has changed a little bit is I'll be more wary about the sentiment, because I've never seen sentiment push valuations up so much before. It's crazy. I mean, I didn't live through the dot-com bubble and I didn't live through the tulip mania, so I didn't see that with my own eyes. But seeing the last 2 years, wow. Yeah, now I'm a bit more wary, because when the sentiment pushes up valuations to so high, right, then that's where the fall is also very painful.
Actually, I sort of think the fall has happened.
It has happened, but has it bottomed out? We don't know yet, right?
So for me, right, the 2021, I had no confidence. I was new to investing. So when it came, I didn't take as much as opportunity as I did. But for the recent crash, the war crash, I knew it would rebound very fast. Because I was doing research for YouTube, and all the past data show that it will rebound, and it really did lah. The longer you invest in, the more familiar you are. You will know what will happen during a crash, like how long it can last. Will there be a crash or not? So
I think the war actually, if you look at the crash, it was quite muted, isn't it? Quietly, if you look at a lot of the US equities, it didn't fall as much as I thought they would.
But the fall actually started way back in November.
Correct.
Yeah, and like Alibaba dropped 50%. So things have become much cheaper now, and it's going back up again.
I think there's still a lot of cheap stuff now though.
What?
So still got a lot of opportunities. Because even if you catch the up, if it's 10% of the way, you still have 90% of the journey to go.
Right.
Yeah, so I still think that there's lots of opportunities now about my DYO.
How do you learn about investing? Like, who do you learn it from?
Okay, so when I wrote my blog initially, right, my very first article was that viral, how I saved 20k in a year. And I remember someone, actually was Investment Modes, who left me a comment saying that you should now start to invest this money. And I was like, what is this thing called invest? Then I went to go and read. Then I was like, oh, okay. Then after that, I saw that Warren Buffett was like the legend of investing, right? So I went to read Warren Buffett's stuff. He never wrote a book, but I went to read like the annual shareholders letters, then some books that talk about his philosophy. Then I went to read like the Intelligent Investor, Bad Move. Don't read that as the first few books you read. Read that as like the medium one, because you read that up front, you'll be so turned off, it's so dry. Yeah. But so I went to read a lot about these books, and I have a consolidated list on my blog, which I recommend to people even now. I learned a lot from that. But I found that a lot of it was quite old school. It didn't have so much on growth,
right,
which we're seeing now, right? And so for that, I actually went for courses to learn more about like how people do technical analysis, how they look at growth investing, so on and so forth. And then after that, like I took courses from the Free Person and Dr. Well, and from there I more or less finalized my style already, and then I just continued the way I did lah. So my criteria and stuff is really like an influence of books and courses. And I feel, okay, I know there's a lot of hate, but to be frank, I think courses are useful. Yeah. Because it's like a shortcut, right? And you learn from the teacher's experience. There are people who will do it for free like him, but there are also a lot of people who they need to be paid for their time. Right? So I think if you are someone who cannot DIY learn yourself, you are the kind of student in school where you need to have tuition teacher walk you through that kind, then courses are good. Yeah, if you're the kind of student, just pick up the textbook, self-study and ace your exam already. You don't need courses. Just go and read and digest all the books and free stuff on the internet out there, can learn. Yeah, so I think for me it was both. Because I learn very well through self-teaching, but I also learn very well when someone like has a proper syllabus and they walk through their mistakes and experience. And I can ask questions. I can't ask the book, hey Warren Buffett, why did you not do this, right?
Yeah, so investing course may not always be bad because they sort of consolidate the stuff for you.
Correct.
But you have to pay lah.
They can be overpriced, so must look out for the better one.
But I think the good part is you can ask them questions.
Correct.
Like if you learn from YouTube, you learn from Brooks, no one is going to reply you.
You're not obligated to reply.
Yeah. So
how did you learn investing? I mean, you charted out your whole journey on YouTube.
For me,
was it more on books?
Actually, I started reading the Intelligent Investor. After 2 chapters, I gave up.
Fall asleep.
It was too dry. So I went to YouTube. So I started around 2016, which was the year where all the financial YouTubers came out. Graham Stephan, that meet Kelvin, the Jeremy guy. Yeah. So they helped me quite a lot lah. So then I also look at financial blogs like your blogs, like Investment Modes, Dr. Wealth. I also learned from this Investing Note, the forum. So all these places lah.
So you were self-taught
lah, because I personally I don't like paying for courses. I like the cheapest stuff.
Yeah.
So I just went this route. I don't know if it's a good move or not, but I still work out now. The reason I say that is because at the start I made a lot of mistakes. Like I was gambling. I wasn't investing. I was gambling. I lost almost 8 to 10k.
Oh no.
So which could have been paid for courses.
2 courses even.
Yeah. So So if you are learning yourself, be prepared to make mistakes. Yeah, because there's no one else to guide you, right?
Correct. I save a lot of money by learning from other people's mistakes.
Right.
Yeah, so I avoided quite a few mistakes that I would have otherwise made if I was doing it on my own. But obviously, I think investing, you still need to be prepared to pay tuition fees. Yeah, so the tuition fees that I paid to the market was more of the psychological lessons that people can't really teach.
Right.
Like I realized, for instance, I went to buy oil-related stocks during that 2016 oil crash. Then I realized, actually oil very cheap. Got so many layers of oil in the whole industry. I thought it's just oil, so naive, right? So after that, I realized I really am not very suited to understand oil. It was very boring. I hated it, and it was just very difficult, and I lost money, so no motivation to continue. But when I started finding things that I was more familiar with, things like certain type of software, consumer goods, so on and so forth, and crypto was very fun also.
Right.
Even though I don't know how to read code as much, but all that, right, really helped to make the whole journey better. So yes, obviously you also lose some money because sometimes just sway, right? But I think overall, going for courses helped me save a lot more in terms of the mistakes. Yeah, so I'm not adverse to courses. I'm just adverse to courses where they charge very high and they always upsell. Yeah, but actually, you know what, right? You can go and then don't go for the upsell. Simple, right?
Simple.
So simple.
What's your investing strategy like? Do you like dollar cost average or lump sum?
Okay, so I encourage people to DCA, but I confess, am I going to get slammed for this? I actually do lump sum.
Lump sum.
Okay, but the reason why, do you know, remember earlier on I said I have a lot of positions? So imagine if I DCA every month, my brokerage costs a lot, right?
Right.
I can use a low cost or free commission broker lah, but it's still a lot. Okay, and also the thing is that I tend to not want to pay for stocks at a certain price. Crypto also.
Okay.
So I don't always believe, if I DCA all the time, right, then I'm breaking my own rules, right? I only believe in buying when it hits the value that I'm comfortable with. So of course, it has certain downsides. Like obviously, I overpaid for some growth stocks last year. I didn't realize sentiment pushed it so over high. But at the same time, because of lump sum, right, I also get more control over my investments and my thesis.
Right.
And I know better what is the rough value that I would project it at. Yeah, so I do lump sum investing and I try to make sure every month, usually on every month, I buy anywhere between 1 to 5 positions.
So you use this thing called discounted cash flow to value your stocks?
No, I hate DCF analysis, man. It's so troublesome, it's so difficult. But actually the worst thing is I feel DCF has too many assumptions.
Right.
Yeah, I use a mix of quantity and qualitative analysis in trying to gauge what is the value of the stocks. So for example, if it's, let's say, very growth stocks oriented, right, I'll look at what is the total addressable market and I'll study the competition. Because like a lot of people like say the TAM is here and then they project here, right? I'm like, no lah, please, competition will come out. So maybe I project somewhere here. Yeah, then sometimes I also do my own projections, but I will be more conservative. So recently for Tencent, for example, on my Patreon, I ran a 20% estimate instead of what a lot of analysts were using, like 35, then drop to 30, then so on and so forth. I was like, no lah, let's just imagine the worst case scenario, 20% all the way. This is the final number it works out to. Well, it's here now, then I buy lah.
So there's a formula to count to value the stocks.
Yeah, but there are different formulas for different stocks. Yeah, so because like how you analyze the opportunity for every stock and every stage of their growth is different. So the DCF is one easy way to kind of just apply it across any industry. But I feel the assumptions baked in is very difficult to like control. So I'm not a fan of DCF.
For me, I don't value.
Oh.
I mean, I just dollar cost average lah. Like if it goes up, I buy.
So every month, I saw your portfolio. Every month you buy into all your 8 to 10 positions.
No, I mean like it's sort of selective DCA.
Okay.
So
how do you select?
there's no formula. I just see mood.
See mood. Is that called emo investing?
But for me, it's much easier because I don't have that much stocks. So like I have ARKG, which underperformed. So I stopped buying it lah. But I'm still confident in Tesla, so I keep buying. Then recently, I'm starting to switch my portfolio over to like more stable tech stocks like Google, like Apple, Amazon. So it's sort of see mood, like if today I see Tesla drops and I see mood happy, I go buy.
Your method a bit.
So yeah, that's why my method sucks.
Maybe you need to come up with your own formula for your emotions, you know, like X equals to emo happy equals negative here.
So yeah, I'm still learning lah.
For me, like I like Google, for example, right? I only bought when it was 1,000 plus. Because back then I felt like the value was I think I forgot how much I counted, 1.9 or 2 point something.
Right.
So the moment it broke that, I don't want to buy already. But of course, you know, like when price goes up, you have to re-evaluate the counter lah. But then, you know, there's also opportunity cost, right? When you buy Google at this amount after it run up, there are also other opportunities that have dropped, that are undervalued. So I tend to weigh that, and that's why I don't do DCA. Yeah, because otherwise if I every month just buy my Google, then I can't find other opportunities. But I also try to be a bit more selective in a sense. That's why I say I got too many stocks.
Right.
Okay, I need to start to trim off also.
So there are underperforming stocks in your portfolio, right?
Of course. I can tell you, right? I mean, when there's a bear market, I always underperform the S&P. Confirm guarantee chop. When there's a bull market, I always also overperform the S&P. So it's really it's up and down, no? Investing is like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like
there will be up and down years. I mean, I remember in 2000, was it 2020 or 2021, my returns was 40%. I was like, wow, so good, man, my return. Then after that, when the tech stocks part came, right, like, wow, boom, my US part of the portfolio, it was all my Google and Disney and all the other stocks that was saving it, you know. So it's really up and down. But I think the key thing is I always question when it dropped, right, is that another sale? Should I buy more?
Yeah, that's the different perspective law.
Yeah, so of course it's obviously pain to lose money, but you think about it, it is also going on discount. If you know the Chanel bag is worth $4,000 and today you see $1,000, you tell me you don't buy? It's more like you walk past, why that bag from 4,000 become 1,000? Must be something wrong, right? Must be a fake, don't buy. Then okay, never mind, I know it's real, I go and buy. Yeah, so it's always up and down.
Right. How do you know what to invest in?
By doing my own due diligence. Yeah, I mean, sometimes people shield me, right? Actually very fun, you know, my Patreon, right? Some of my Patreon subscribers will shield me things that they want. Yeah, because they want me to go and do the research for them also, right? Yeah, so I'll put it on my watch list. I'll take a look and then I will reply them usually with a few paragraphs, like at least we'll go and do a bit more research for them also lah. But I tend to put a lot of things on my watch list and then I will think about it for very long and do my research for very long. Then I go in. I can tell you Tesla on my watch list for very long. I watched almost all of Chicken Genius Tesla video already, but I still don't have the conviction to go in yet.
So that's the other thing, like Tesla is so overvalued now. I do whatever valuation, it will definitely not pass my equation thing.
It's very hard to value Tesla. That's why I didn't go in. I couldn't come up with a decent way of valuing what Tesla was because I felt a lot of it was also the sentiment.
It's a sentiment.
How do you measure sentiment? Yeah. So how measure? How? Give me a formula to measure sentiment. Sentiment equals to 2x. Like cannot, yeah.
Chicken Genius say buy, you buy lah.
But now Chicken Genius quit already. Then how? So yeah, it's really DYOR. Yeah, I feel if I watch a YouTuber or influencer or anyone shilling me something, if I lose money, right, I never blame them.
Yeah.
I always blame myself for not having done enough research. Yeah.
Can you share your returns?
Okay, so my returns I shared with the people I need to be accountable for, which is my husband and myself. Yeah, I share with you for what? Because I already say, actually I'm very open, right? Bull higher, bear lower. I think that gives you a rough sense already. Right. But I think more importantly is like, why should you compare returns of your own portfolio with other people? At the end of the day, you just need to compare the index, right? Because it is, if you feel you're underperforming the index overall, not like in selected years, overall, then just go for the index lah. Warren Buffett says that, right? But if you feel that overall you are outperforming, then that's good enough. And how much outperformance do you really need? Some people are very happy with 40%. Some people want 200%. How much money you need in life to be happy, right? For me, as long as I outperform and I'm happy with my performance, my husband don't hamdam me for losing his money, good enough.
Yeah, so just compare to the index.
Yes, and compare with yourself.
With yourself.
Always strive to be a better investor you are next year than you are this year and every single year.
When Lambo?
Actually, I won Lambo. I don't like Lamborghini. Sorry, Lambo fans. I think if any, it should be when landed property.
Wow.
I got dreams of living landed. But actually, because I think the investment value retains and another topic for another day. But I don't know. I mean, I hope personally to achieve real financial independence by the age of 45.
45?
Yeah, so I have slightly more than 10 years left to go. I shall not tell you
But-
my age. When you Lambo?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow! Hey, I know. Tomorrow I do YouTube, then can I Lambo after that?
Can. How do you talk to a spouse on investment and financial planning when he or she is totally not interested?
Okay, so the trick is just talk every day.
Brainwash.
Yeah, just keep talking and brainwashing because, right, okay, I can be very honest. My husband probably listens to me 1 out of every 10 or 15 times. Yeah, you know, like I give you an example. I nagged him to switch from debit card to credit card. You know for how many years?
What, 5 years?
2 whole years, okay? I budget, babe. He say he budget hung, but he still use debit card. Walao, he cannot leh. So that's one. Then to switch to a high yield bank savings account also, I nagged for so many years to switch from his $200 plus phone plan to today's SIM only and only pay 30 something. Also nagged for so many years But one day it will pay off. So just nag and nag and nag. Yeah.
So, what if he doesn't listen?
They will one lah. I think if you nag a lot of times it will just become their subconscious. Slowly but surely you will see the change.
For me, what I did was I used a game called Cash Flow.
Oh, I know that game.
Yeah. It's a bit like Monopoly, but it's by that Rich Dad Poor Dad guy.
Yeah.
So when I tell my wife I want to retire early, she's like, "What's that?" I let her play the game, and she said, "Oh wow." So after a few times, she was willing to let me invest for her. So that's how I brainwash her into it.
Actually, that's a very good tip. Yeah, I can consider letting your spouses play cash flow as well.
Yeah.
My husband actually played before.
Ah.
Yeah, I think he played before me even. But I didn't feel got a lot of change. Like maybe just him.
Haven't played more than enough. For the final part, right, are there any investment tips for noobs like me?
I don't think you're a noob. So investment tips for beginners. I think number one, you must know what is your objective and your investing style. A lot of people forget about this. All the courses will teach you formulas, your books will teach you formulas and methods and show you stocks or crypto, right? But at the end of the day, the best investment is one that fits your own objective and investment style. It's like for me, I'm very clear of what makes me lose sleep at night. That's why I cannot FOMO Tesla. Everything, right? I cannot sleep. I will be like, if Elon Musk tomorrow does a tweet and then the SEC come after him, cannot. My heart cannot take it. So you need to go for investments that you are personally comfortable with and where your strengths or your interests lie. And then also you must always, I think this is the biggest mistake most people make. They know when to buy but don't know when to sell. So how to know when to sell? I know you got a video on that also recently, but when you know why you buy, which is the thesis, then when to sell is very simple when the thesis has changed. Full stop. As simple as that. You can have all the fluff formulas, but it just boils down to when it changes, sell, full stop. And then there's also opportunity cost to think about. But don't get so overwhelmed by everything out there. I think it's great that today we have so many free financial information channels, including yours. But I still believe that if you're not someone who can learn very well from free because it's just so overwhelming, you don't know how to consolidate and sieve the data for yourself, right? Then just go and invest and go for a course. Don't have to be the super expensive one, but at least when you get a foot in through the door and you learn some basic skills, right, it's easier later on to go and do all your DIY learning online also and through books. Yeah, so that's the biggest advice I have for all the people who are either new to investing or are thinking of starting. It's not that hard, but you must know what you want out of it and the best way to get there.
I think to add on, right, even if you are bad in investing, you don't want to spend on courses, just go for index funds.
Yes.
Or even ROBOADVISORS. It's the easiest way to do and you don't have to spend tons of money.
Correct.
So start investing today.
And follow his channel. And mine.
And mine. And her. Make her 10K by end of this year.
Yay! Thank you!
Okay, I think we have come to the end of this interview. If you want more contents, subscribe to her. She's starting her YouTube journey soon, I hope.
Kelvin asking me to start. Should I?
Okay.
Let me know in the comments.
Yeah, so once again, see you guys every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Okay, bye!